Hello, everyone. Welcome to our vision board party. I think this is our second one. Maybe we've done more, but I know we for sure did one last year. And I was super excited to do it again this year. It holds me accountable to finish mine. And I just want to encourage you guys to do one yourself because they have totally been a game changer for me. I'll talk a little bit about that. But one of the big, goals of this call and this party is to get you guys pumped about creating one and to also have you creating one as we're talking. So hopefully you brought your poster board, you brought your scissors, your magazines, all the things, and you're ready to start creating. And if you've already made one, I hope you will be willing to share yours. I would love to see some of yours as well. I've got my vision board clip art book. These are things you can get on Amazon. I actually have a couple because my family, we do these every year. In fact, my 11-year-old was like, when are we going to make ours? He's like, making sure we do this. And we keep it very, very simple, like poster board and marker. My boys, it's so hilarious to see the difference between my boys making a vision board and my daughter. Like my daughter will make it beautiful and spend all this time like pondering and, getting the perfect picture to represent. And then my boys are like drawing stick figures and they're done in like 10 minutes. So funny. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to first start off by showing you some vision boards of the past. And I'll show you the one I started for this year and just talk about vision boards in general as I'm admitting people. So I'm trying to like admit people to the Zoom call while I'm talking. So bear with me as I multitask. I do. Someone, Kim said in the chat, I thought you had a bunch of old magazines. I'll have to check out that clip art. I wish I had a whole bunch of magazines, but I don't get magazines like I used to anymore. So, but magazines work as well. Like, here's the thing I want you guys to remember is there are no rules. Like you can do it however you want and whatever works for you. So don't feel like you're doing it wrong or anything. You can do it on poster board. You can do it on a Pinterest board, which is what I've done in the past. You can do it digitally. You can do it on a piece of paper and draw, like the point is just to kind of like write down your goals and have them posted somewhere where you can see them all year to remind you of your goals. The reason why vision boards are so powerful, in my opinion, is because it's kind of like serves as a reminder of all your priorities for that particular year. And it's also a way of manifesting some things into your life that you want to happen. And I'll be honest, you guys, I was looking at last year's vision board and I was like, a lot of these things didn't happen. Like, and that's okay, because one thing I've noticed, I've been doing vision boards for probably about, I would say 10 years now. And one thing I've noticed is that I'll create a vision board and it'll happen. It doesn't always happen in that year. Sometimes it will happen like in the next year or 2 years later. So, but it's kind of your way of putting out into the universe what you want out of life. It's your way of dreaming and it's your way of reminding yourself what you want out of your life. So really, I want to encourage you. So don't judge yourself. Just start dreaming big. I think a lot of us forget to dream as we get older. Like when we're little kids, we have these big dreams. As teenagers and even young adults. And then I feel like we get married and have kids and we're in survival mode. We forget to dream. And I want to encourage you guys to dream again and start to see some of these things happen in your life. I've had crazy things happen from my vision boards where they almost happen exactly like the picture on my vision board. I had a vision board picture of some girls, all like some people on a team. They weren't my team. They were just on a team all at Disneyland. so I put that on my vision board a couple years ago, and Bexy's raising her hand because she was there. And that happened. And that same exact picture, I'm getting chills talking about it because it literally turned out to be almost the exact same picture as the one I had on my vision board. I've also put like keywords on my vision board, and then they happened, but in a very different way. So don't judge, don't be like, how in the heck is this going to happen? Because I think that's the part where we get caught up in, is like the how. But I think that's where faith comes in, right? That's where we have to have hope and faith and do the work. And then you just never know what will come into your life and how it will come. Sometimes it comes in the craziest way than you would have ever imagined. So, and Bexy just said, I went to Fiji because of a vision board. I love that so much. Yeah, I mean, I've had so many crazy things like this wedding ring. I don't know if you guys have heard my story about my 2-carat wedding ring. I tell it all the time when I do these kind of vision board trainings, but so I lost my wedding ring when I went tubing on I went on a girls boating day, and I lost my wedding ring. It went to the bottom of Utah Lake, and I was like so sad to go home and tell my husband, hi, I had a great time with all my girls, and also PS, I lost the wedding ring that you proposed with. And so that was really devastating. And then so I was like, you know what, a girl can dream. And so I started pinning these giant wedding rings on Pinterest of what I wanted, and knowing, having no idea, we were on a very tight budget at the time, having no clue how that was going to happen. And I entered a giveaway for this 2-carat wedding ring, and I won it. And that was like, blew my mind. So you just never know how it's going to happen. That's not the part you have to worry about. The part you worry about is the part that you need to focus on is dreaming big, and then making some effort to try to work towards some of these goals. Amy just wrote in the comments, I ended up with the exact car I had on mine, even though it wasn't what I thought I wanted. I love that. Same year and color even, which I didn't even realize was a color for that car until the night after I bought it. And then I woke up in the middle of the night when it dawned on me. Oh my gosh, that's so trippy. Moral of the story, put down what you actually want. Yes, I have another story for you, Amy. I mean, I could go on and on about these stories. Like I put this vision of, it was like in New Zealand, this Lord of the Rings, like giant statue thing. I put it on my vision board many, many years ago. Didn't even remember I put it on my Pinterest board. In which, by the way, you can create private Pinterest boards. So if that's something you want to do, totally do a private Pinterest board. The thing is that you want to be able to print it off so you can see it. That's the key. But anyway, I went and looked back at my vision board, and my husband and I have a picture in front of that exact statue. And I was like, oh my word, I did that. But again, we were on a very tight budget. I had no idea how I was going to make going to New Zealand happen at the time. But we found crazy cheap tickets, and Matt's parents just happened to be serving a mission for our church there. So we had free lodging and free tour guides. And it was like, it was my favorite trip that I've ever been on. So they're really powerful things. And that's why I want this for you. I want this for you. So that's why we're doing this tonight. I'm going to show you. So this was my last year's one. I'll tell you a couple things that did happen. I did launch my Airbnb, my Pink Paradise Airbnb. So that was exciting. And I did clean my desk, and you guys, my desk, I organized my desk, and it literally looks almost exactly like this. In fact, I did that on purpose. I bought the same pencil container as this. I bought the same, I have an iMac. I bought the same iMac. It's literally my computer that I'm talking to is on that. And I bought a pink version of that mouse pad. Anyways, so that was just something simple, but it happened. What else? like I said, there wasn't a ton. I did definitely, my word last year was heal thyself, healthy self, heal thyself. And I did remember that throughout the year. So if you have a word of the year, put your word of the year on there. Yeah, concerts. We went to a lot of concerts last year. And I will tell you, a big part of it was because I put it on my vision board. And so I remembered that was something that was important to me that year. And so I went out of my way to look for fun concerts to go to. And those are some really fun memories that I made with my kids, because I took my teenagers. So anyway, so those are some of the things that happened, and there's some that didn't happen, and there's some that I'm gonna add to this year's vision board. Let me show you another one from the past. This is 2021. My word of the year was joy. And sometimes I'll add quotes on here. This one says, be so good they can't ignore you. I think that's the year I launched my podcast. So I have, look how ghetto that drawing of a microphone is. But and I wrote 5 reels a week. That is when I really got focused in. Actually, I think that was 2021 that I really got focused in on doing daily reels. And I'm so glad I did, because now it's a routine. It is a habit that I've created that is no longer hard. So I love this quote that says, create routines, not resolutions. I kind of like that idea, because that's the goal here. We're trying to come up with some, some people say, like, I don't believe in goals. And I personally believe that goals are, like, another word for goals are habits. That's really what we're wanting. We're wanting these habits, these routines that eventually we don't have to think twice about. They're eventually no longer hard. And so write down some habits that you want on here. Write down some routines you want. Write down something that you want to do consistently. I wrote down, gratitude journal. Yeah, just different things here. And even like, different like thought processes, like we versus me. Like I wanted to have more of a we mindset. I wanted to pay off 2 of my houses. That never happened. So anyway, there's no right or wrong way. But now I'm going to show you one more before, and then I'll show you mine. Hopefully you guys are getting some ideas. Hopefully you're starting to work on yours right now as we're talking. Where did I put that other one? I had a printout of, here it is. And I want to challenge you guys to keep your vision boards too, because it's fun to look back on them and be like, maybe I need to do that one and try to continue doing that one this year, or maybe, that, and then see which ones actually happened. Here's one. This is from 2016. It's a kind of a crappy printout actually, but this one is on an 8x10 piece of paper. And I made this digitally and then I printed it. So that's something you could do as well. If you do make a digital one, save it as your wallpaper on your phone so that you can see it every day. So some of the things on here were, this one was cool. This was a picture of some girls jumping into a pool, a picture of some girls jumping into a pool with their team. That actually happened to me. And so we literally got a picture of it. Really cool. This one said afford a housekeeper, and I was able to do that. I don't know if it happened exactly in 2016, but eventually it happened. So like I said, just having like a visual representation of your goals helps you remember those things that you want to happen, those things that are a priority for you for 2023. And then this is the one I've been working on this year. where did I put it? Oh, so this year I want to focus on doing dates with my kids. I kind of slacked on that. I used to be really good at it. So it was a habit, then I got out of the habit. So I wrote it back down. I wrote down donations, want to get rid of some crap in my house. I wrote down 100,000 downloads for my podcast, which I'm very far off from. So again, I don't know how that's going to happen, but I want to make it happen. So I wrote my word for the year, which was community. I always write the year in the middle. So if you're not sure where to start, there you go. Write the year and then write your word for the year. I wrote a quote here. If you can't stop thinking about it, don't stop working for it. That's another good tip. If there's something that you keep thinking like, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I really still want that in my life, like, then keep working towards it. It's not a matter of if it will happen, but when. If you continue to make it a priority, if you continue to work for it, continue to dream, I really believe that. And then I wrote 3 W's: workout, walk, and weights. Gonna try to do that. One of those every day. Being present, eating more veggies. So yeah, those are some of the things. I've got a few other things I'm going to add. So just the other tip I have for you guys is to get her done as soon as possible. Like the more, yeah, that just keeps falling over. I'm just wrestling with my poster board here. The sooner you guys get it done, the more likely you are to get it done. So I really want to encourage you guys. My challenge to you is to get it done tonight, if possible. And if not, at least in the next 24 hours, because there have been years where I was like, I'm going to finish. And then I never did. And then I was so mad I didn't have a vision board that year. And it was because I got busy. We all get busy, right? Which is why we're having this Zoom call to hold us all accountable. And anyways, so those are some of my tips. Does anyone have any questions before I'm also going to open it up after I answer some of your questions to see some of your vision boards, past or present. But does anyone have any questions? You can write it in the chat or you can unmute yourself about vision boards. Okay, does anyone, I'm gonna get a couple other things I wrote down and then while I'm writing it down, will you guys write in the comments if you would like to share yours? Because I don't want to be the only one talking here. This is my word for the year is community. It's not Kelly, it's community. So I want to hear from you guys. So a couple other things I wanted to mention was to write your why. Write why you are doing some of these things, why you want those things to happen. You know, it helps to have a purpose behind the thing, you know. And then my other tip is regarding Color Street, you know, some ideas I wanted to give you guys is writing down maybe how many subscriptions do you want to have per month? My goal was to have like 40 a month. If you have 40 subscriptions a month, that's $1,000, 1,000 PV every month. That would be killer. So again, we don't always know the how, but once you write it down, then you start working for it, right? And you can even put it out there to your VIPs and be like, all right, guys, I just wrote this on my vision board. And I would love to make it happen. Can you help me out? That one's huge right there. That one I highly recommend each one of you do. Because I think subscriptions are where it's at. Subscriptions make your life easier because on the 2nd of the month, I don't have 40 right now. I think I have like 32, but I was able to get 700 PV on the 2nd of the month. Like anything else is a bonus. Like that is so fabulous. So I want that for you guys too. So definitely write down how many subscriptions you want to get and maintain per month. Maybe write down how many parties you want to host per month or per week. Write down a rank that you would like to achieve sometime this year. Write down, if you want to earn a Color Street trip, if you want to earn Jamaica, put a picture of Jamaica up there. If you want to go to conference, put a picture of, conference, like people at conference. So those are just some ideas for you. And if you guys have other ideas, please share them in the chat. All right, so I'm going to open it up for you guys to share. Bexy, feel free. You commented first, so I would love to see yours and get some ideas from you.
Okay, so the vision board, I was just wanted to kind of talk about how cool this one thing was about how I went to Fiji, because I didn't put on my vision board that I wanted to go to Fiji. So what I had done, and I had done a digital a digital vision board, and this was in 2017. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to do, let me make sure that you guys can see this. So I had put this picture up on my vision board because my husband and I wanted to do more hiking. Okay. And we were trying to get in shape and all of that, right? So I put this picture up on my vision board and at the beginning of the year, and around December, I guess it was in November, my husband gets this call to go and teach a filmmakers class in Fiji. And we're just like, yes, please, and it just happened to work out that I could go with him to Fiji. So we go and we have an amazing time. And like I said, that was in December, and I get back home and, we do Christmas and, and New Year's comes around, and I was going through like my vision board and seeing, what actually happened. I was able to get my camera, big camera that I really wanted and stuff like that. So I was like, hey, cool, check that off. And we did do a lot of hikes that year. We climbed Mount Timpanogos that year, which is the second, I believe, highest peak in Utah. So we did lots of hiking, which was great. That's cool. But I was really, this picture kept standing out to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this picture is called the Garden. Okay, let me see if I get this right. The Garden of the Sleeping Giants, which is located in Fiji.
Oh my gosh.
So I was able to manifest going to Fiji just by putting a picture of a Fiji picture. I didn't even know that was from Fiji. It's just we went there and hiked it, and I'm like matching my pictures up with this picture, and I'm just like,
my word. So you actually hiked in that area as well. It wasn't just that happened to be in Fiji and you went to Fiji. It was that you actually went there.
Yes.
That's incredible. I love that story so much. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's like, these are powerful. Do you have one that you've made right this year?
I'm working on it.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I love it. You got your word of the year, I can see.
Yep. It's surrender. And I was wrestling with that word for the longest time, because I was like, heck no, I'm not going to surrender to anybody. I'm strong and powerful and empowered. But I've recently learned that it's basically, and it really goes along with what we're doing with vision boards, is trusting and flowing, and throwing out how is this going to happen? How can I get 40 subscriptions? Throw that out and just be like, this is my goal, and I'm going to flow with it, and I'm going to surrender to the flow.
Nice. That is actually similar to so I have a my business word is community, but I also have like a personal word of the year, and mine it's more of a phrase, but it's just let go and let God. So I'm just going to write it, let go, with like the D in parentheses, but so it's like a short But that it's very similar because yeah, I just kind of want to like try to let go of controlling everything.
Yeah, yes.
Or trying. That's really let go of trying to control everything and then failing and being disappointed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. That's fabulous. And I think one thing I want to mention, you guys, is like it's okay to not be 100% sure. You know, like let's say you put something on the up there and you're like, actually, that's not my word, or actually, I don't really want that. You can take it off. Like you can paste over it. You know what I mean? So don't get so caught up in me. Don't be a perfectionist procrastinator. This is what we do as humans. We procrastinate because we want to do it perfectly and then we don't do it at all. So I'm proud of all of you for even just hopping on this call, because not everyone is on here, obviously, but you guys are showing up, which is awesome. I saw someone else, Amy, you had did you want to share anything else, Betsy, before we move on? No. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that story. I love that story so much. Amy Baldridge, hi. You had an old one you wanted to share?
I do. This is actually the one that has the car on it. So, okay. So here's the thing too. Like, this is a physical one. I'm totally going to try to do a digital one this year and do, and print it off in several different ways, because I have this really cool, like a bulletin board kind of thing in my room that's in the shape of a star. So I want to cut things up and put it on that as part of it, but have it on my wallpaper and have stuff on my, bathroom and whatever. Yeah. But this one I had done physically, and I have a ton of words on here. Like when I first started working on this one, I was in a pretty rough place where I didn't have a vision at all. I was totally in survival mode. I was leaving a terrible marriage. And so all I could find in the magazine, I was doing this with some friends and I found a bunch of words in a magazine and I was like, I just take the words and it's fine. And I knew I wanted a Subaru. So like I found the only picture of a Subaru that I could find. And it was like, not even the car that I wanted. I was like, whatever, it's a Subaru, like check. And I cut that one out and put it on there. And I could not at that point, like close my eyes and visualize anything. So I would sit with this thing in my lap every day and I would like pray over it. And I would say every word that was on it over and over for months and months. And when I finally got this car, I remember seeing it in the lot and I was like, wow, I've never seen that color before. Like what a pretty green color. I would never think of getting a green car, like whatever. And I woke up in the middle of the night after I bought it and I was like, hold up. And I went out and turned on my lights and looked at this board and I was like, oh,
like, it was wild.
So super weird. But like the words were huge for me. And I feel like that's still going to be a thing for me, is like having all those words on there, because those are the things that speak to me more than being able to close my eyes and see the actual thing. So
yeah. It's like, it's those affirmations, right, that you're putting out there. And I love that story so much. I got chills with you sharing it.
I still do. It's so super weird. Like, but really, for real, you guys put what you actually want on there, because like you'll probably get it. So if it's not specific, just know that you did that to yourself. So
yeah, and you know what? It is good. Like, for me, like it's been fascinating to see. Like, okay, I'm writing this again for the third year, but it's like, okay, clearly that's important to me. It's something I've been wanting for 3 years or 4 years or whatever. And so instead of like judging myself and being like, I'm a failure, I didn't do it, you know what I mean? It's just like, no, I'm just looking at it from a curious place. And I'm like, no, that just means that clearly it's important to me and I need to keep pushing for it. You know what I mean? I need to keep working for it. So that's been something eye-opening for me. Would anyone else like to share? Or does anyone have any questions? Hopefully you guys are pinning stuff like crazy on Pinterest, or you're cutting stuff out, or you are, there's apps, there's vision board apps you can download and use. So hopefully you're all working on those things while we're talking, but yeah, it's really exciting. I am not going to cut and try to host at the same time I did that last year and it didn't work. So, so any other thoughts or questions or things you would like to share before we wrap it up? Y'all are quiet here. Okay, well, Carmen, were you on last year? Yes, you were. I'm going to call you out, Carmen, because I remember last year on our call, you raised your hand and you were like, you were struggling. You were like, how do I do this? And you were struggling with like a little bit of guilt. Do you
I'm
remember
still
that?
struggling.
You're still struggling. Share kind of what you were struggling with then or now.
I still struggle with it. I've never really been a big dreamer. It's really hard for me. Like I'm getting better at it. I am getting better at it and pushing myself a little. But for the longest time, like I didn't really have dreams. Like I was saying last year, I earned a cruise with my last company and was able to take my daughter on it. And everybody kept saying like, oh my God, I can't believe you earned your dream trip. And I'm like, I've never dreamt of doing that. Cause I dreamt it for her. And I'd always say like, I can't wait for you to go. And I can't wait. Like, and I saw it for her, but I didn't see it for me. I didn't ever think that I'd be able to afford to take any of my kids on a trip like that. So it was like really hard for me to hear that. I struggle still like to dream big. Like I'm hard on myself. I've done very well in the year that I've been here but I'm always, I love hearing about other people reaching their goals, but for me, I still feel, I don't know, like I have some girls on my team that love being shouted out for everything that they do and they want it. And I find it really hard as a leader to do that because I get, I don't know, I feel weird when I'm shouted out, I guess. Like there's a part of it that I kind of like I'm competitive and I want to hit certain goals. So when somebody says like, wow, you hit that goal, but then it's like, ooh, I don't really like, you know what I mean? And I hold myself back a lot. And that's something that I'm really, really trying to push myself to just not stop at being okay. And I feel like I had a really hard, like really good start. And then life happens. And I don't know, like I've noticed even over Christmas, like I was talking to my daughter about it because she's also on the team. And I said, like, when I'm with my family, like my family's very loving and very caring and all the things, but there's something about being around my three brothers that I go like, and I go into this little, I don't know. So like, I don't talk about big dreams because I think I'm afraid of not doing it.
Yeah.
That it scares me to push to like, and I'm like, oh, I don't really need that car. I don't really need more than what, like I'm doing okay. And then it's like, so for this kind of thing, like I'm trying, but I still like, I'm like, like holding back. And I know that. And that's like my word of the year. Like I've been struggling. Like I want to lead, I want more intention and I want to challenge myself. And I just don't know where that is. And I think like the intention, and it's not just for this. I feel like with my kids too, like we've gotten into funk with COVID and we sit and we're all on our devices a lot. And we've kind of, and I want to be more intentional, I think is what I'm looking like I'm pushing towards in the fact of like doing reels and being intentional about that, doing, teamwork and being intentional about that. Like I can lead with intention, I can parent with intention, and I can also go for my goals with intention. So I think that's my it comes with challenging and leading and all that, but I was trying to find something that fit all because I feel like it all goes together and that, but like back to the vision board, like I still do hold myself back on it. I feel like I'm really close to a lot of like I'm past goals that I had before because I was very minimal with them. So it's just kind of pushing those to that next level. And I didn't print mine out last year, I'll be honest. Like I did it digitally and I was like, oh, here you go. Like that was really good. And I saw there too, like I do a lot of 90-day challenges. I do all the things. Like I'm there and doing the
Yeah.
things, as soon as I start doing really good, I hold back and I kind of hold myself in, I don't know. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to just push. I am going to print it this year. I promise I'm going to show you.
I know.
printed.
I'm going to hold you so accountable this
I
year.
know. I'm like, okay, I've got to just stick it in front of me. But even my daughter was here. I don't know if anybody noticed, but she's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, a trip to Disney? Because that's been a dream of mine, like to just be able to take the kids. And like, my biggest why was, that took me about 3 years to figure out my whys as well, because I just was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just doing it. It's fun and whatever. But my
Yeah.
biggest why is, as a single parent, like, I just want to be able to say yes to all the things. Like we did Disney with my parents and all that, but it was like those extras. I could never say yes to any of the extras. Like we did the things. The kids are like, we've always had what we wanted. We've always, I talked to my older daughter and she's like, because I feel that, like, I'm like, I just never got to give you all the things that I wanted to give you. Like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and then she's like, you've always given them. And they don't see that. But for me, I just want to be able to go and say, yes, we can do that. You want that extra thing? Yes. Let's just do it. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like where
Yeah.
I am. But then when they see what I'm dreaming about, I hold back as well, just thinking like, oh, but like, I don't know. So I'm
Yeah.
working on it, I promise.
Yeah.
I'm here
I love
again to embarrass myself, but I will
No,
figure out this
I love that
time.
you're back again,
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you a couple questions. I have a couple thoughts and couple questions. So because I want to make sure I'm understanding, like, do you think it's like, is it an unworthiness thing, or is it more of does it feel like sort of vain to have like a purse on there or a car, or you know what I mean? Like, or something for yourself. I'm just trying to get to the
It definitely was
really
like
clear.
before, like we were told, how much money do you want to make a month? And I was like, enough to get by. Like, I don't know, like I
Yeah.
could never, like think past, I'm doing really well right now. Like this, like since I started Color Street, it's the first 2 years. Like I started in August of last year.
Mhm.
And it was the first 2 Decembers that I wasn't avoiding phone calls because bill collectors were calling like every December before that date. I
Yeah.
had to skip bills to do Christmas and then avoid phone calls and stress and like pick between, what events I went out with my friends, because I couldn't afford to do everything. Right. So it was like, and the last, like, I just like paid, you got my paycheck yesterday, I guess it was. And it was like, I paid all my bills. I did Christmas and I have extra. And I was just like, so it's like, I do want that. Like, it's not the money per se. It's the, my daughter went and tried on a dress. She's graduating. So it's her 4th year in college and she's graduating. And we went to the dress shop and she found this gorgeous dress. I have good friends, so I actually got a deal on it. But if I didn't, I still would have been able to say, I want you to have this dress. And she's like, no, like, I don't want you spending that much. And I was like, I want to, like, that's why I work so hard. Because I want to be able to say, yes, I want to get that for you and be able to do that. Because I've never been able to do that in my life, right? Like, it's always been like, or here you can do this, but then I stress about how the hell I'm going to pay the bill the next month.
Right. No,
You know what I mean? So like, I want that in that sense. And I think that that's where I got stuck for a really long time of wanting money, because I felt guilt about wanting money, because I felt like people were soft, we're doing okay, we got like whatever, like, you know what I mean? And now I kind of see like, if I could make this much more money, how many more people could I help, or what could I give my kids, or how could I help them? So it's a change in my thought system of what the money does. It's not just having, you know what I mean? It's like that
I was just
yes
gonna say that.
Yeah. So it did take me a really long time to get there. I'm there, I think, kind of like, I still like, I'm fine with my 10-year-old van and it's fine. But really in the back of my head, I'm like, how do I get a new car? How do I get, like, so it's
Right.
coming.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, because we're all, we can be content with what we have, right? But it's like, it's okay to want more, right? Like, it is okay to want more. And Amy made a comment here in the chat. It says, for me, it was always just a goal to survive, which I very much relate to. And she said, so dreaming is a luxury I didn't have the guts or even the need for. And she said, I find myself stuck in the, okay, we are making it, everything is paid, we are good and we're safe. If it isn't a need, it doesn't feel like it counts to me.
That's exactly how I felt for a very, very long time. Like I say that, and I say it often, is that I was always okay with being okay. And like, I was content in that. But I think there's a little part of you, like, I don't know, like over Christmas, my brother got a new vehicle, and my parents over Christmas, like my brother came to visit, and my parents were like, oh, I can't, like, I'm so proud of you. You've got this nice new, I'm like, and even he was like, shut up. Like, she's driving a car that hardly even starts. Like, just like, and he's the same as me, like that humbleness of just like,
Yes.
I want it, but I don't want attention. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of like hits you, and it's like, it's not that I don't want that. It's just like, I'm okay with what I'm driving. It gets me to whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Like I mean, cause I was struggling very much, before Color Street. Hopefully you knew my story, where it was like living paycheck to paycheck. And I put on my vision board, I just want to have enough money to not have to think twice about guacamole. Kind of like you, like, I just want to say yes to my kids. Like, I don't want to put the groceries back. I don't want to say, no, you can't rent this Amazon Prime movie because it's $2 and we don't have that, And so it is definitely a mind shift of going from like surviving to like thriving. But like, it is okay to want to thrive and to like want to have more. And maybe your core values are very much others oriented. And so you can put on your vision board like things that you want for your family, for your kids, even being able to give back. Like, that's a big one for me. I want to be able to be generous with.
That was actually my other why, is like saying yes to the kids. But like, I used to just like struggle really hard scrolling through Facebook and seeing GoFundMe's and like these good causes and stuff. And it was like, I wanted so badly to give, and sometimes did, but again, you had that guilt of like, okay, now how do I pay this bill? Or how do I, or I can't donate this time because I just don't have it, And that was one of my other whys, was like, I want to be able to stop on those. And I have been, in the last year and a half, been able to stop and say like, I'm going to give $100 to this. Like, I want to send somebody a gift, and I don't really care. Like, people have been like, I don't, you don't have to do that. I'm like, I know I don't, but I can right now. And it feels damn good. Yeah. And it feels really good.
That could be a big one on your vision board. And, like, that's because we have been in survival mode, because we have struggled, we know what it's like to struggle. And so we want to help others in our past situation. And so it's like, that's been really such a blessing for me to be able to, I was able to do Christmas for 2 families this past Christmas. And like, just being able to like be generous in that way is like a really wonderful thing to want,
Just so you know, I have no idea what's happening with my camera. I'm on my iPad for the first time. It's like zooming in, zooming out. I'm not doing that.
It's fine. It's fine here.
Like, but I find too, not only with life and like with that, I find also with my team, like I came into Color Street, like I'm Canadian, guys. So like, that's why I started in August, and I had a really good start. And I've just been like in the last little bit, like talking to my daughter again. She's also started at the same time. And like, we've done really well. But I said, when I first started, like I sent out like more than 700 samples within like a 3-month period. It was just like, they were going out left and right. Like, I was messaging everybody, and I had all this excitement, and I had, I don't know, I think 35 people join my team. And I was like, just like in a really good thing. And then I got overwhelmed. I won't lie, because it was me and like 100 people joined the team within that, very, very quickly. And it was all coming at me, all the questions. And I was just learning it because I had never, like whatever. And it was just an overwhelm. And I just found myself like, I was doing the team calls, and I was doing all the things and sending out incentives and doing all the exciting things. And then all of a sudden it just became too much.
Yeah.
and people were like, you know, everybody's not always happy. And it was like, why did you show her out and not me out? I'm like, I just don't know what's happening anymore because there's too many people.
Welcome to leadership, right?
I want to do stuff for everybody, but like, you need to tell me when something good happens, because now I don't know. There's like 100 people coming at me, you know? And then
Yeah.
I just kind of went into like a little like, okay, I liked being okay. Because it was just like a lot, and I put myself behind, and then like, and I know you have to do that as a leader, but I was just kind of like not getting anything because I was so afraid of hurting people's feelings, and like, so I wouldn't shout anybody out in case I missed somebody, because I didn't want to hurt anybody by missing them. And I just like kind of went, woo. And then also like 35 of my friends kind of joined as well. So then I didn't know who to reach out to, because my network essentially split into like, say, 15 people that were wanting to do it as well. Do you know what I mean? So then I was just like, that organization, it was like, oh crap, I don't know. So that's on my vision board as well, is to get more organized and to get systems set up so that I'm not feeling that way, and like kind of learning to delegate to other people. Here,
Yeah.
you shout out, because you I love it.
There you
but
go.
I'm so afraid of missing people or doing something
I
like,
know. It is,
So-
it's hard. It's hard. It's like being a leader is like being a mom, you know? It's,
it's way worse.
it's
It's
really
like,
hard.
I can
'cause-
deal with my children. It's other people's children. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Oh my gosh, so true. So true. Well, it sounds like you've got some things. You've got organization, you've got Disneyland, you need to write the word yes on there. Like
It's down there with an
I
exclamation
can
mark.
already visualize your vision board right now. And but
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna give you another challenge.
Okay.
Because that's what I do. I also would like you to write a wins list of wins that you've had in 2022, because I think it's very easy to kind of forget some of our own accomplishments, you know?
Yeah, I
Like,
think like that came up. Did you post that? I feel like that came up and I avoided it. I'm not gonna lie, because I've had a lot
yeah,
of
I
wins.
posted that.
I've had a lot of wins, but I've also had a lot of guilt. Oh, Jamie, I love you too. I had a lot of guilt with it because, like, with my health, I've been very like COVID restricted. My son and I are both whatever. It's just different for us, and I feel like I earned, you know, I would have went to conference. I know how important the in-person, the team things are, and I haven't
right.
been able to do those. And like the leader thing that's coming up, the trip, like all those things, like, and I think if I didn't know, it wouldn't bother me. But like after I went to my first in-person thing, obviously not with this company, but with my last company, I said, I'm like, I am never missing an in-person event ever. Like, it's life-changing. And I know that. And so like having to say no to some of them, it's like, yeah, I earned it. And I'm proud of that. It's not that I'm not. But to talk about it, there's a guilt. It's like, oh, are you going? It's like, no. And I know that it's not a fear or not wanting to go, like, because everybody's like, it's so important. I know, like, I really know.
Yeah.
And it hurts because it's like, yes, those were wins, but to me, they were also crap.
Lost. Yeah, no, I feel you, because like I saw someone else post the question, like, what was one of your wins from 2023? And I literally, when I saw that, I was like, I can't think of one.
And there's so many. I mean,
2022, because 2022 was like a freaking hard year for me personally, and my like just family stuff, and there were a lot of changes with Color Street and stuff, and so it was a hard year, and so it was like I had like a block of like all the wins that I'd had.
I think it's been like 4 years of hard years.
I know. Well, we are all dealing with the aftermath of COVID too, and you know, so but then I started writing down my wins, and I was like, wait a minute, there's been some wins from last year. So I think sometimes part of imposter syndrome is not even acknowledging our accomplishments, you know. So anyway, that's my challenge to you as well, but we're all holding you accountable for this vision board.
I'm on it. I'm doing it. I promise.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
have to print
Thanks for
it.
remembering too. That's nice. Nice to
Yeah.
know that somebody remembers your guilt.
I just remember you, Carmen, because you're, everybody loves you, Carmen.
I love
Um,
you.
And Becky asked, where do you keep your vision board? So I like to keep mine behind my bedroom door. That's why I do it vertically on my poster so that it fits on a door, But again, if you do a digital one, put it on your phone, wallpaper, just, you want it to be somewhere you can put it by your toilet paper roll, wherever you're going to see it often, because you want it to remind you of the things that you want to focus on in 2023. So, all right, well, you guys, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you, Carmen, for opening up and being vulnerable, as well as everyone else that shared their vision board. And I hope this inspired you to want to finish yours, and let's get those bad boys finished and printed and up on the wall in the next 24 hours. Okay. Thanks so much, everyone, for hopping on. This was a great chat, and we'll see you next time. Bye.